So I'm a Black young female out here trying to open up a business, a brick and mortar business. So it intimidated me a little bit, but even when I was like going down, talking to the mayor and talking to the city council, telling them about my brand and what I wanted to open up in the city, I just kept repeating to myself, like, if God be for me, who can be against me?
Come on
Like,
now.
if God be for me, no man in his room can stop what God has for me because it's mine. I don't care what I
Mhm.
look like. I don't care what I look like. I don't care what gender I am or what the color, my color of my skin.
Mhm.
God is for me. And when I tell you, like, I got a yes from every single person on that city council, from
Mhm.
the mayor, from the planning committee, because the planning and zoning, I got a yes from everybody. So
Welcome to Show Your Receipts, where we believe if you can see it, you can be it. Receipts are evidence or proof that something has occurred. Our guests are evidence that Black excellence is alive and well. They will be sharing their receipts on how they've been able to accomplish so much in their life. I'm your host, Tony Jackson. Let's get started. Welcome to Show Your Receipts, where we believe if you can see it, you can be it. We are excited to talk to our guest today. Her name is Vella Shaw. I'm going to read you a quick bio of Vella. Vella is an entrepreneur who has been making her mark since 2017, initially in the world of e-commerce. With a keen eye for creativity and a passion for entrepreneurship, Vella recently established Swanky Spaces, a premier pre-styled event space that reflects her dedication to providing top-notch experiences. Alongside her professional pursuits, Vella finds joy in motivating others to embrace their full potential, aligning with her firm belief in fulfilling one's divine purpose. Outside of her career, she cherishes her role as a devoted partner in marriage, finding inspiration and support in the love of her life. I am excited to welcome Vella. How are you today, Vella?
I'm good. I'm so happy to be here. Thank you for inviting me.
Absolutely. I'm excited to have you here. Let's jump right into it, Bella.
Yes.
Let's talk about Swanky Spaces. It's been said that money earned is a reflection of problems solved. What problems does Swanky Spaces solve for their clients? And tell me a little bit about how you started the company and, what you guys do.
Yes. So it's an event space. And what makes us unique is that it's a pre-styled event space. So we come already put together.
Okay.
So with like your traditional venues, what I've been seeing in the market, it's usually like a boring, empty white room with they may throw in a couple tables, a couple chairs for your convenience, right? But Swanky Spaces is actually styled, hence the name Swanky. So we are really, embracing the name Swanky, and how it really helps our clients is because our clients won't have to worry about, like styling a space, making their special event special because they have to, put thousands of dollars into their decoration budget. So we do half the job. Okay. All you really have to do is just add your personal touches and you can have an amazing
That is awesome. And that's in what
event.
city is that in?
It's in the DFW area. We are currently in North Richland Hills. So if you're familiar, you'll know what North Richland Hills is.
Absolutely, absolutely. If you're in that area, you need an event space. Look up Swanky Spaces.
Yes.
Absolutely. So let's dive into a little bit of, your lifestyle now as this entrepreneur and owner of Swanky Spaces. Talk to me about running an event space company. What, what work you guys typically doing? Is it wedding showers? Is it baby showers? Is it graduation parties? What are you guys typically doing? What does that look like?
Yeah, so we actually just had our grand opening in October of 2023. I want to date this video just in case. But we just
Absolutely.
actually had our grand opening a couple weeks ago. So we're brand spanking new in this business. But pretty much we are zoning into like the intimate type of parties. So for us, like you can have up to 60 people at our space. And we have like already made like tables so you can have like private dinner parties or private, corporate functions. So we really zone into that. So We do weddings, but it's on the smaller side. And if it's like your vibe, we can accommodate you. But it's all up to the client.
Absolutely. In your bio, we discussed your e-commerce experience, your e-commerce background. Talk to me a little bit about your e-commerce background, and what were you guys, what kind of products were you selling?
Yeah. So for me to talk about that, I'll have to take it back a little bit further. So I actually started getting on the internet and promoting myself in 2017. I felt like the Lord was placing it on my heart to start a YouTube channel. So that's actually where I started. And on there, I would do like encouraging videos, encouraging people to be the best that they can be, So I started that. And then from that, I wanted a product that can be for my listeners, and I was doing that and I was very consistent with it. Like I was like, if God told me to do it, I'm going to do it and I'm going to do it right. That's how I've always been. So from there, I started a t-shirt business. So, and it was called Vella Clothing. And pretty much what it was it was encouraging messages on shirts. Like our first design was motivating women on how strong they are. And it was like strength, and it was like, you're stronger than you think. So that was our first design. And I pretty much kind of expanded from there. But from there, I started sharing like my entrepreneur business on YouTube as well. So I was reaching people while I was building their brand. I was showing people how to build the brand on YouTube. And from there, it pretty much kind of took off. And I did that for a couple of years. And then I shifted a little bit and did some online coaching. So I was teaching other people how to start their online business. So I did that. Now I shifted again, and now I'm in like the event space era. But my entrepreneur background stems all the way back from 2017 when I had my online business. And it was really, really successful. I think just what I wanted out of life changed. And that's why I pivoted a little bit. But I've always been an entrepreneur. Well, I always wanted to be an entrepreneur. And once I got a little taste of it, I was like, okay, this is who I am. I feel like God has called me to be an entrepreneur, and not only just sell stuff to the world, but I've learned that my journey impacts people. Like while I'm doing it, I'm encouraging people to do it. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm encouraging people to live, to have or want better for themselves. And that, you're created for more, you're created for greater. So ever since I've been doing it, I've been encouraging other people to do it. And I'm always share my journey online. And that's because that's what I've been doing. So I feel like
Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. You mentioned sharing your journey online. For our viewers who may be watching this and saying, you know what? I would love to own an event space company. Can you walk us through that process? What was that process like? How did you find a location? How did you get a location under contract? Like the design part, did you do it all on your own? Was it like a DIY? You in there with a paintbrush? Did you have people to come and help you? What was that process like?
So I hope you're ready for this story, because it was nothing like how I imagined it was going to be. So before, okay, I want to kind of like say this before I go into that. So after I stopped doing the e-commerce stuff, I took a break because I met my husband and we got married and we bought a house all within like a year. So I kind of took a step back from entrepreneurship in general. So, but the yearning to get back into business, like I feel like I'm made for this. So when I'm not doing it, I actually went back to my 9 to 5. That's another story for another day. But I actually went back to my 9 to 5. So the whole time as we, buying the house, planning the wedding, all that stuff, I'm working a 9 to 5. And the whole time I'm like yearning to get back into business. Like I am an entrepreneur. I know, because sometimes you go through seasons of life. Sometimes you got to do something for a little bit until you get to where you want to be. So that was the place I was in. Yeah. So while I was doing that, I was just thinking like I really want to get back into business. I want something that's generational that I can pass down to my children and my children's children. So I was like, like I'm thinking like, okay, I think I want to start a content studio, because it first started off as a content studio, and it still is a content studio. It's an event space and content studio. And it was supposed to be for like entrepreneurs to come and shoot their content there. Like you can shoot your podcast, whatever. So it started off as that. And then God expanded my vision into doing events as well. And at first it scared me. I'm like, oh, that seems like a lot. Like, can I really do it? So this is like a span within months where I'm like conditioning myself and telling myself that I can do this. And God speaking to me like, you can do this. This is what I want you to do. Blah, 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 blah. So fast forward. So literally after our wedding, I got married in February of 2023 this year. And after a honeymoon.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
And by the way, shout out to your husband, because that ring is ringing. That ring is ringing. I see it.
Oh, thank you. But anyway, so literally after our honeymoon, because we went on our honeymoon right after our wedding, the Monday after, I got busy with Swanky Spaces. Like, so the first thing I had to do was secure funding. And that was like something that was kind of, I don't want to say scary to me because, you know, fear, the whole fear thing, but it was scary. If I'm being real, it was scary to me because I was like, how are we going to do this? We just bought a house where we just got done planning a wedding. So one of my good girlfriends, she told me about this lady who helps people get funding. And I'm like, oh my God, once she told me that and I had like a glimmer of hope that this thing could come to pass, it was all over. Like, I don't care what else I got to do. Like, we going to get this started. So we ended up getting funded. And then from there, we had to find a space. And when I tell you, that was a learning process because I don't know what it is about, because I had a realtor and I don't know what it is about commercial realtors. They're not like residential realtors. Like, I feel like they get bigger checks. So that means they can be a little bit more lax or something. But I went through a couple of realtors and all in all, I ended up finding the space on my own. And it was just so crazy because in the beginning, when I was first working with my realtor, God is just amazing. In the beginning, when I was first working with my realtor, I found this space that I'm in now. And he told me, he was like, you know, I don't work with realtors because I feel like it's a waste for both us and the client. And I was like, okay, well, I got a realtor, so blah, blah, blah. And I told my realtor that, and she was like, well, no, we'll just keep looking. So fast forward, she ended up ghosting me. So I ended up circling back to that man. And when I tell you God is just so good, I went to go view the space. I put in an application the same day. And then a week or 2 weeks later, I can't remember, I got approved just like that. So it was really God's direction with that. So from there, we had to get our permits and stuff. And that was another thing that was a long process because if you know anything about getting permits from the city, they take their good old time. That was a process, I really had to exercise my faith with that because of course I want to get approved and, you know, it's all, they hold the cards, but God, you know, I ended up getting approved with flying colors. It took a while, but we did it. As far as like designing the space and all that type of stuff, I was scouting out interior designers. They all ended up falling through. So I had to do it myself. I had to design the whole thing myself. And we're here.
Wow. Here. Yeah. So what I'm getting from your story, Vella, is perseverance. So you had a realtor ghost you.
Yes.
You had, you had to struggle to get funding. You had to struggle to get the proper permits.
Yeah.
But you stayed faithful throughout that whole process. Let's go back. Let's talk about some of these things. We've had entrepreneurs on the pod who talk about the difficulty they've had getting funding. Talk to me about who this lady is or who this person is. How did this whole funding come about? Because I have so many people who have these businesses who have difficulty getting funding. It seems like it was a challenge for you, but it was kind of a smooth process.
Yeah, so like I said, my good girlfriend, she kind of connected me to her. And the reason why I trusted the lady to do it with me, because she actually worked with her before. So she was telling me that her husband got funding for his business and it was great, blah, blah, blah. All you have to do is pay the lady a fee or whatever and you can get funding. So I went through her. I can share that details, I guess, later. I don't know how you want to do that. But I went through her and pretty much I think she connects you with independent, don't get me to telling wrong information out, but pretty much how it was she connected us with independent investors, like independent banks, I think.
Yeah.
And, you submit all your information. Of course, you have to have the credit and all that type of
Right.
stuff.
Right.
It doesn't affect your personal credit, which I thought was amazing. And I wish I could explain that part more because I'm still kind of
Yeah.
confused on that. But it doesn't
Yeah.
affect your personal credit, but of course, you just pay them back. Um,
Absolutely.
yeah, over time.
Now, did you buy the event space? Or is it something you're leasing out, or do you like own the facility?
So I'm leasing it out.
Okay.
Which
Okay.
I'm happy that I'm doing because
Absolutely.
new business, so I'm not stuck with the a
Ab-
mortgage or anything. So yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So, talk to me. I know that you're just getting started, but I would love to hear what a normal or typical day. I don't know if there is such a thing, for a lot of entrepreneurs tell me there's no such thing for them as a normal typical day. But as you're getting going and getting Swanky Spaces up and going, what does your days look like? Are you, you know, on social media promoting it? Are you going around passing out flyers? Are you in there tidying things up? Like, what does a normal day look like for you?
Yeah, so pretty much all that you said. Right now, we're heavy with the marketing. Heavy, oh my God, heavy. Because now my goal is just get the name out there. It's a great concept. It's a beautiful business. Now we're just heavy on the marketing. So of course, that looks like creating content to post on on my socials. I'm on Instagram and TikTok. And then also what I think is great is that there's this website called Peerspace. And pretty much what it is, it's like Airbnb for event spaces. So people can
Mm.
go on and you can list your space on there and people can go on and find it, your space locally. So we're on there. And then also just some other few things that I'm doing. I'm trying to get to do direct mail marketing, which, if you see anything about, if you've seen before, like you get the little flyers in the mail, what people call junk mail or whatever. I'm trying to do something like that. So yeah, now we're just heavy with the marketing. So every day my days lately have been just waking up, seeing how I can get the name out there I've been like contacting local influencers, offering them an incentive in exchange for promotion. I'm doing stuff like that. I'm working with the chamber of commerce in my city so I can start promoting on there. So right now I'm just heavy with the marketing. Okay, because
Absolutely.
and we need to get this thing booked.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, I got another question for you because there's so many people who have business ideas. And so many people who have a passion for entrepreneurship, or they feel like they have a passion for entrepreneurship, or it's something they want to do, and they have ideas in their head. However, you acted on those ideas
Oh yeah.
and made it a reality. And so, I guess the question I have for you is, what is unique about you? What skill sets do you bring to the table where you were able to do what, 9 out of 10 people may have a business idea and
Right.
they have, different things that they want to do, but you actually put a plan in place, follow through with the plan. Swanky Spaces alive, you got, so I guess the question I have for you is, if somebody's watching this and maybe they have an idea and maybe they're stuck, maybe they haven't took those steps necessary to actually make it a reality. What advice would you have for them?
So I would say what makes me unique is I have the ability to believe that I can do it. And a lot of people do not have that. It's really sad, but a lot of people just simply can't believe that it's possible for them. So from the beginning, before I even started the journey, and even when I was fearful or scared, I always believed, like I was training myself to believe that I can do this. This is a new space for me. Like I said, I started with e-commerce, totally different. Oh my God, even through the process, it's been different. But I believed that I could do it. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of people lack that because one thing, I hate to be braggadocious because that's just not who I am. But one thing about me is I knew that living the regular life, the 9 to 5 life was not a life that I wanted to live. Like I wanted to make a certain amount of money. I don't want a cap to be on what I can make. I don't want to go to a job every day that I absolutely cannot stand. I want to have generational wealth. So in order for me to get those things, I have to believe that I can do it. If someone would just like you said, a lot of people have those ideas, right? The only thing that's stopping them from going out there and making it happen is they don't believe in themselves. So you have to literally train your mind to believe that you can be the person that you dream of, that you can have the business that you dream of, that you can have the things that you want. Why? Because it's promised to us, right?
Mm.
Like, it's promised to us. We don't have to live at a surface level. Like, I don't think that God created us to live that way. So me knowing that, I'm coming for everything I got in this world. Like, I'm
Absolutely.
gonna ask for everything. If I didn't get it, I know it wasn't for me. But I'm gonna keep asking and I'm gonna keep believing and I'm gonna work till I get it. Okay. So that was just me. Like, I've always been an ambitious person. Like, I've been working since I was 16 years old. Always was ambitious. Always was independent. But at some point around that 2017 mark, I was like, entrepreneurship is what I want. It's the lifestyle. It's what's going to provide me with the lifestyle that I desire. So ever since then, I just been doing it.
Absolutely. So you mentioned, you said the thing that may separate you from other people is your belief.
Yes.
Talk to me about that. So what if you know somebody who's struggling with belief? How do you get belief? How do you get belief? How can you believe in something? I'm playing devil's advocate here. How can you believe in something that you can't see? How is that possible to actually believe it and you can't see it?
Well, that's the thing about having vision. You have to, everyone desires something. Like, at least, even if it's something small. But if you have vision, then you have to get the belief part. You know what I'm saying? Like, everyone desires something. Everybody wants something out of this life, whether it's big or whether it's small. Everybody has something that they desire. It's about believing that you can actually do it. So what I would say to that person is really narrow down what you want your life to look like, and then start training your mind and reading and really figuring out and what it says in the Bible about what he promises us. That's what it is. What he promises us. And then start believing it. If you got to read scripture, if you got to read books, start training your mind to just, take it up a notch with your faith. Take it up a notch with your self-belief. So it's all a practice thing. You got to start training yourself to do it.
So are you big into like dream boards and vision boards? And
Yeah.
okay.
I'm big on writing it down too. Like, anything that I desire, I write it down. Anything that I want, I write it down. Now, I will say that there's some things that didn't happen for me, but that never deterred me from still believing. You know what I'm saying? Like, because there's sometimes things don't align with God and his plan for you. Or sometimes it may not happen now, but it'll happen down the line. So what you can't let the closed doors or the no's or the not right nows deter you from believing. And I think a lot of people do that. See, if I would have stopped back then when I had my e-commerce brand, I was like, okay, well, it's not working out. I guess I'm just going to go back to work. Like, no, I still believe that I was going to be an entrepreneur, a successful entrepreneur, a profitable entrepreneur, an entrepreneur that has impact. So that didn't deter me from still believing that I can be that girl. I can be that person. So I just kept believing.
Okay. Okay. I was thinking Shakira Richardson when you said be that girl. So let's think. So what are some, so now I want you to be able to give some advice or some suggestions that may be able to help somebody in their journey. Let's say if a person wants to start their own event-based company, what are a few things that you would tell them to watch out for? Some pitfalls that you can maybe help them avoid that you ran into. If what are a few things that you would say, hey, watch out for this, be careful of this, don't do that.
So two main things just popped up in my mind. First, when you're looking for a space, do not get discouraged, okay? Because the journey can be long. And I get DMs all the time. Like, I've been looking for my space and I'm getting sad because nothing's working out, blah, 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 blah. So my advice to those people is continue to look in one. And then when you find a space, I will call the owner or the realtor of that space and see if they allow event spaces there. And then from there, if they say yes or no, because a lot of people won't do it because of the risk, I guess. And then while you're looking for your event space, make sure they have the parking for it. Like whatever the size that you want, make sure they have the parking for it. Make sure that it's in a location that's feasible for you. Another thing, don't depend on a realtor. Don't depend on a realtor. Go out there and call these people yourself. I was calling people every day because I need a space. So I was calling people every day. I was driving around, looking at different locations, looking in strip malls, looking at all these for lease signs. I was calling everyone. If the parking was good and I seen that it was okay, like I'm calling them. Another thing is do not skip getting your permits from the city. Do not do it. The last thing you want is for them people to come to shut down your business while you making money. So it was an extensive process for me. I think it took about 4 months for me to get my permit.
Wow.
Do not get discouraged in that time, because what I learned with the city is they gonna get their check. They're 9 to 5 people. They're gonna get their check every 2 weeks. So nothing is a rush for them.
Yeah.
So you just gotta be patient. Yeah, do not skip the whole permit process. Make sure that you are legal. You're legally can be in that space. So those are my 2 major things, is with those things.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And so another question is, what is something about the event space? And again, I know you're just getting started, but whatever you can share, what is something about the event space business that most people don't know, or maybe that you didn't know before you got started, but now is, is pretty evident to you?
Well, I think I have 2 things. So one is how long it takes to get one open. I started in February and I just got open in October. So it took a while.
Yeah.
It took a while. And 2, oh my God, I just had it. 2 is once it's open and after you've done all that work, the building continues. The working continues. Now you got to get your name out there. And one thing I would say I would do a little differently if I had the chance was market more, because I was marketing before, but take it up 3 more notches before it even opened. So that's what I would tell people.
Okay. I mean, that's good. That's good. Okay. So here's what I like to do now, Vella. We're going to go back.
Okay.
We want to talk about little Vella. We want to talk about growing up. We want to know early childhood influences, whether it's parents, coaches, teachers, maybe it was somebody early on who inspired you to want to be an entrepreneur. I would love to know, growing up in school, what kind of student were you? All of that good stuff. Tell me about how you become this boss lady that's in front of us right now.
Yeah. Okay. So my mom dabbled in entrepreneurship while we were kids. She worked in 9 to 5, but she would have businesses as well on the side. So that is my first, I guess, touch entrepreneurship. But I would say what makes me have like my ambition that I have today is sometimes while I was growing up, we didn't have a lot, so that's what motivated me to start working at the age of 16. You know what I'm saying? Like I figured I got to get it for myself. You know what I'm saying? If I want to go to school dressed a certain way, I got to buy it. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, growing up, we didn't have a lot. We were actually in and out of hotels. My mom was going through a really, really rough situation with my dad at the time, and the whole trajectory of her life changed from that. So that affected my schooling work. So I really wasn't a great student. I lived in Ohio and it was my senior year, and I was actually flunking all of my classes because and I didn't realize this until later on in my life. It was my home situation that made me not focus on school. It was a lot going on at home. And my mom and my dad had their own little situation going on, and it was affecting our home and it was affecting my schoolwork. So what saved me was we decided to move to Texas, to Dallas. and in the middle of my senior year. So when I got to my new school, they had credit recovery classes, and it literally changed my life. I don't know where I would be if I would have stayed in Ohio. I would not be who I am today or where I am today. Hopefully by the grace of God, I would have found my way. But moving to Texas literally changed my life. Like, like when I tell you I was failing all my classes, I was failing all my classes. All I was worried about was working so I can make some money. You know what I'm saying? Like after school, I would work. So yeah, we moved to Texas and I graduated on time. So thank God. And then from there, I started working and all that type of stuff. So yeah, that's really what motivated me to be who I am today and know that the life that I desire is on the other side of me working for it and having faith and trusting God and believing that it's for me. So from there, I've just always desired better for me, and not only for me, but for my children. I tell my husband, and he's on the same page with me, thank God. I was like, we're not having kids till we're in a space to have kids, you know? So, yeah.
So you don't have kids?
No, I don't have kids.
Okay, because you spoke about kids a couple of times. Like you speaking it already into existence. You said my kids and my kids' kids. And so
I'm preparing for them.
absolutely. I love it. I love it.
We're going to do this thing right.
That's right. You know, and what's interesting about your story, Bella, is it mirrors a lot of entrepreneur story with, you know, financial challenges in childhood, oftentimes, you know, other challenges. Talk to me about the adversity that you went through as a kid. And do you feel like that has strengthened you or impacted you as an entrepreneur? You feel like it's giving you kind of that resolve to push through and to take no's and all those different things?
Oh, most definitely. I can just remember just like having to push through my day at school or get to my working shift after school with, you know, all the home drama going on in the back of my mind. So I think, and I never question God. Like what you've been through in life, he uses it for your good. When it says all things works together for your good, I truly believe, and I will die on that. But yeah, just I guess like pushing through like those challenges as a kid and pushing through my home situation, pushing through like having to mature quickly, you know, as a teenager, that really, really made me who I am today. So when I'm faced with a challenge, yeah, I may cry because I am a crier, but I'm going to push through it. You know, I might talk to my husband and he might encourage me, but we're going to push through this thing. Like, there's no quitting. There's no giving up. There's no, oh, you know, I'm big on taking breaks. I'm big on resting. But at the end of the day, we're going to get back to it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I think to answer that, like, I think just everything that I went through as a child legit made me who I am today. Like, honestly, I wouldn't change anything. Anything that I went through as a child, I wouldn't change not one bit because I have the mindset that I have today because of that.
Absolutely. So what advice would you give? Let's say we have somebody who's watching this episode right now. Maybe they are, you know, living in a home full of turmoil, or they're having some issues being able to navigate life because of their family situation or their neighborhood situation or whatever the case may be. What advice would you have for somebody who's in the thick of it right now, who's going through it right now? What words of encouragement or advice would you have for someone like that?
I would tell them that it's going to get better. I would tell them that there is a light at the end of the tunnel, and that even though you're going through it now, you will not go through that forever. You know, there is a time and a season for everything. And it just so happens because even now I still go through things, you know what I'm saying? I still go through challenges and all different type of stuff, but I never, ever, ever say that this is my end, because it's not. So I would tell that person, like, it's going to get better. Like, even if you have to tell yourself that every single day, say it's going to get better. I will get out of this. And then also I would tell them it's okay to be a little selfish. Okay. It's okay to think about you in this situation. If other people around you are causing some sort of turmoil or a toxic environment, I would tell them it's okay to think about you in this moment and put yourself first and figure out a way to get yourself out of it or change situation and then work to get there. But, you can't always like, I don't want to, I'm trying to figure out a way to say this, but you can't always like be concerned about other people and what they're doing. Sometimes you got to be a little selfish and think about yourself and think about your mental health and think about your emotional well-being and be like, me, what I'm going, it's more important than what y'all got going on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove myself and I'm gonna focus on me and I'm gonna get me better. I'm gonna strengthen me and I'm gonna work on my mindset. I'm gonna work on my environment. Like, so I would tell them that.
Absolutely. And to go a little bit further with that, when talking about adversity, do you feel like people are better off, or maybe even you in general were better off because you went through that situation? Because I know a lot of people talk about graduating from the school of hard knocks. And, my question is, would you be you if everything was rosy and perfect? Do you think that you would still have the tenacity that you have, the desire to create this generational wealth, to do all of these things? Would you still have that if it weren't for those situations you went through?
Oh, absolutely not. I always say that life is your biggest, what is it? Your biggest lesson. So again, I would not be where I am today if I didn't go through any of those things. Yes, sucked while I was in it, but it showed me, like, it taught me something. Like, even with my last business, my e-commerce brand, I learned a absolute whole lot. And I feel like I failed at a lot of things with that brand. So now that I took my little break, got married, did all that stuff, did all the happy stuff. Now going back into entrepreneurship, I know so much now. And that time in my life taught me how to show up as a CEO today, how to show up as a business owner today. Like, I can't do the same thing that I did back in the day, because why? It worked out, but it didn't really work out. You know what I'm saying? So now I know what not to do and I'm learning from it. Even now I'm still learning. But those it's a lesson for a reason. Like, it teaches you.
Absolutely. And you say that you've learned what not to do. What are some of those things that you've learned not to do?
Yeah. So one thing I did learn is discipline. So back then I was really lax on, showing up. I showed up and I presented, but showing up consistently. You know what I'm saying? So now I really, really been exercising my discipline muscle and my consistency muscle. And part of the reason why I think that didn't get to where I wanted it to be is because I wasn't disciplined enough. So now I'm the most disciplined I've ever been. And I still feel like I can be a little bit more. Like, I can go a little bit harder. That may just be the ambition in me. But I feel like I can go a little bit harder. So the thing I learned back then was, girl, if you want it, you got to get it.
That's right.
And with that, God is going to help you, and you can believe all day, and you can, what they say, manifest all day. But you got to put the work in. You have to put the work in, and you have to show up for yourself.
So faith without works is dead. Let's talk about this, because, you occupy a very unique space as an African-American woman. Oftentimes when people think entrepreneurship, they think male. Oftentimes when people think entrepreneurship, they don't think African-American. So talk to me about some of the unique challenges that you faced as a woman entrepreneur, as a woman business owner, as an African-American. Have you come across any challenges, any friction, because you are who you are and you look like how you look?
Yeah. So I think what really made me realize that I was a Black woman in business is when I went down to the city hall to go get my permits, and I was in a space full of people that didn't look like me. So there was male, they didn't have the same skin color that I had. So in that space, it kind of intimidated me a little bit because I'm young too. So I'm a Black young female out here trying to open up a business, a brick and mortar business. So it intimidated a little bit. It intimidated me a little bit. But even when I was like going down, talking to the mayor and talking to the city council, telling them about my brand and what I wanted to open up in the city, I just kept repeating to myself, like, if God be for me, who can be against me? Like, if God be for me, no man in his room can stop what God has for me, because it's mine. I don't care what I look like. I don't care what I look like. I don't care what gender I am or what color my color of my skin. God is for me. And when I tell you, like, I got a yes from every single person on that city council, from the mayor, from the planning committee, because the planning and zoning, I got a yes from everybody. Not one person told me no. So in that space, I'm like, okay, I'm a Black young female. I'm intimidated because I'm around whole people that don't look like me. But God was for me. So I would tell whoever feels like that, no matter what gender you are or what color you are, if God is for you, no man, and I want to make this real clear, no man can stop what God has for you. Nobody. They can't stop it. So I just kept that in my heart and I went for it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So the question I have for you is, let's say if you had to go back and talk to the young you, obviously you're still very young, but the you that first started their YouTube channel,
Yeah.
the you that first started selling t-shirts, e-commerce online, what advice would you give to the 18-year-old Vella as she's launching out into the world to do all of these things? What advice would you have for her?
I would tell her to not care about what people think or what people would say. Before starting my YouTube channel, I would think about, like, okay, what people say, I'm showing up. I've never done like anything like this before. Like, I'm new into like posting on social media and all that type of stuff. So I would tell her to just do it unapologetically and just show up and not care about, because to have people who you think will say something about you is wishing that they could do it too, wishing that they had the confidence that you had, wishing that they had just enough courage to step out there on faith and do it. So you showing up is healing for someone else. You showing up for yourself is encouraging someone else. So I would tell her not to care. Because in the beginning, like sometimes, even now, like I'm not even gonna lie, like even now, sometimes I think like, oh my God, should I post this? Like, are people tired of hearing what I got to say? But just post. Just post. Do not think about it. Like I said, a lot of people are just be so stuck in their mind. And I get it because I was there. Sometimes I am there a little bit, but I always tell myself, like, just show up. Just show up. Get out of your mind and just do it. Do it consistently. And see what happens. You will be so surprised of what you can accomplish by just showing up consistently as yourself. And be yourself. That's another thing I would tell you, is be yourself. Just be you. Don't try to be anybody else but you. Because people will gravitate towards you and your story and what you have to offer, right? Don't worry about the views. Don't worry about the likes. Don't worry about anything. Just show up as you. People will start catching on.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's great advice. And we wrap it up here. I got a few more questions. So the foundation of this podcast is based around, first of all, highlighting the success of Black entrepreneurs and professionals. But a big thing that we also like to do is to provide opportunity to connect professionals and entrepreneurs with each other, and also to connect aspiring professionals and entrepreneurs. My question to you is, are you currently mentoring or helping someone else, maybe a high schooler or a teenager, some young person? Are you doing that? And if not, are you open to doing that?
So I do it to a certain degree. So like on my social media accounts, I help like with my videos and, because I show my process. And then I also have like encouraging videos, like stuff like that. So I do it to a certain degree. Now, I do aspire to take it up a few notches and really create a community for just entrepreneurs and business owners and content creators, no matter where they are in life. So it can be teenagers or someone in their 60s. Like, I don't care. Like, I do aspire to create that type of community. So I do aspire to take it up a notch.
Okay. Okay. So we getting it going right here. So the question I have for you is, if a person is watching this and they're like, you know what, I want to own me a swanky space one day, or I want to have a YouTube channel and an e-commerce business or something, and I really resonate with the story of Vella Shaw, and would love to be able to get some more information or connect with her in some kind of way. What would be the best way for them to connect with you so they can get some information and some encouragement from you?
Yeah, so I would tell them as of now to send me a DM on Instagram at Vella K. It's VELLACAY, Vella K. And, just share where they are at in life. And I will do my absolute best to help them in any way I can. Then also, just look at my past videos and hopefully, that would inspire you in some sort of way. Cause like I said, I literally showed my whole entire process on Instagram and TikTok. Like, showed my whole entire process. So, and it's like tons of videos on there. So if they aspire to have an event space, I would tell them to look at those videos because I give the uncut raw advice, just like I did today, like about what you really got to go through to get one. So yeah, I would just tell them to look at my socials at Vella K.
Awesome. And then that leads me to the last thing. In regards to Swanky Spaces, what's the best way for people to find you? Is it the same Bella K social? Is it different socials? How can people tap in and plug into the Swanky Spaces in the DFW location of Texas?
Yeah, so you can find Swanky Spaces on Instagram at swanky.spaces. Facebook is Swanky Spaces, TikTok, Swanky Spaces. You can go to our website at swankyspaces.net. There you will have all the information about our venue, our packages, pricing, everything's on the website. If you want to inquire, you can go to the website as well. So yeah, we're everywhere. We're trying to be everywhere.
That's right. Well, Bella, we thank you so much for taking time to speak with us today. We thank you for sharing your wisdom. We thank you for showing your receipts. And we wish you much success in your journey with Psyche Spaces. And yeah, thank you for sharing your time with us today.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.